Bananas and Pajamas, Maidenslave here, and today I'm going to be talking about War Pigs. Or Paranoid. I guess it's just Paranoid. It was originally going to be called War Pigs until they made Paranoid. And then the record company asked them to call it Paranoid. It's actually quite an interesting story because they had the album done and they were going to call it War Pigs. That was going to be their big anthem for this album, and they had like 2 minutes left on the album to fill, and the record company told them, make something up, do something quick, that's 2 minutes, it could be whatever you want. And then Tony just goes in there and he starts playing it, and that was Paranoid. So that's pretty funny. It definitely has great sound. It has sound pretty similar to Black Sabbath, their debut album, except it's a little bit beefier. A little bit more on the bottom, and the guitars definitely sound a little bit bigger. And they didn't record it in a day, but I believe that they recorded it in like a couple of days or maybe a week or something like that, which is still ridiculous, and it definitely feels like that. So this album right here is a motherfucker. It opens up with War Pigs, one of their best songs ever of all time. It's a very different sounding song for sure. It has a very epic kind of opening with the sirens and everything going on. Great chords, kind of an ominous feel, and then it goes into that very, very catchy kind of rhythmic part. And then Ozzy comes in with the singing, which is once again very catchy, very, very bluesy, by the way. They're still a very bluesy hard rock band, which I love. Goes into a really, really cool groove, and then the whole song is just very epic. It has a very big feeling, and it's awesome that they opened up the album that way. I always like when a band opens up an album with a long song, a very epic sounding song. Now, it has to be done right. That's the only thing, because a long song has to be good, and it has to flow really well with the rest of the album, and it absolutely does. Brilliant performance by the band on this one. I mean, Bill Ward, oh my goodness, every fill he does has so much life to it, and it's just so raw. I mean, obviously the bass by Geezer is awesome, and Tony, I mean, come on. And that goes into the ultra catchy Paranoid, the big hit. I mean, there's another big hit on this album, but this is like, as Ozzy likes to say, his motherfucking anthem. It's a great song, and even though it is kind of catchy and it is a radio hit type song, it still has the same feel as the rest of the album, which is a very live, very raw, kind of dark feel, so it doesn't jeopardize that in any way. Planet Caravan took me a long time to come around to. I mean, I actually pretty recently I came around to the song. I used to just think it was boring. The band wrote it literally just to have a song to listen to when they're high. I did not come around to this song until I listened to Pantera's version of the song that they did, because when I saw that they covered the song, I was just like, is that the Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath? Like, out of every song Pantera could have covered, they covered Planet Caravan. Like, I was just curious. So I listened to it, and I was very surprised at how good it was. And, Phil did a very, very good job on the vocals. And I was just like, well, you know what? Actually, it's a pretty good song. So I went back and I listened to it, and yeah, I came around to it, and I like it now. Iron Man. I mean, come on. It's Iron Man. One of the most iconic riffs of all time, next to probably Smoke on the Water. Absolutely fantastic song. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard it, so I don't really need to talk about it that much. Electric Funeral. Fantastic song. I think that this is, probably another kind of title that could have been the title for the album, because it's cool. Electric Funeral is cool. I mean, the song's not nearly as strong as Paranoid or War Pigs, but it is still a really, really good song. It's a very, very different sounding song. When you first hear it, especially if you're pretty new to maybe the old God! Hand of Doom is another kind of epic sounding song. It's very dark, once again, like War Pigs. The lyrics are extremely transparent in what they are about, which is I starts out a little bit slow, and it definitely has a dark vibe to it, and it gets very, very heavy. Ozzy's screaming like crazy, awesome riffs, amazing drum fills, just another song that's just a complete and total package, for what this band was all about in these days. I hate track by track. Let's talk about Rat Salad, because when I reviewed Black Sabbath a long time ago, I reviewed Led Zeppelin right along with it. And I favored Led Zeppelin at the time, and I thought that, Bonzo and Moby Dick was a lot better than Rat Salad. And quite honestly, over the years, I much prefer Rat Salad over Moby Dick. I absolutely do. Moby Dick is, to me, very intricate. It's very fancy, I guess. But with Rat Salad, it's just straightforward. It's just a drum solo. That's all it is, with some really, really catchy lead parts from Tony. And the drum solo goes down just great. I mean, it's a very jazzy solo. It's a very jazzy song, and I absolutely love it. I just do. It's so much more simple. With that song, anyways, you probably want to listen to the live version. And with Rat Salad, it sounds live, so it's absolutely fantastic. Fairies Wear Boots is a great way to end the album. I think that they opened this album and closed it on probably the two strongest songs that they could. Because Fairies Wear Boots doesn't sound like anything else really on this entire album, and it is a great song. Once again, very, very catchy verses and choruses in there. Great guitar parts, just a great performance by everybody in the band, and some melodic parts too, especially at the end. They got some twin leads going on there, and it's just an absolutely brilliant way to end an absolutely brilliant album. So yeah, Paranoid. It definitely is pretty much everything that the critics say it is, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's Black Sabbath's best album. It's one of the best hard rock albums of all time. And it's definitely one of the albums that you should listen to before you die. Even if you don't like it, you just should, because there's so many parts on this album that you could just hear their direct influence on so many bands that would come after them. And it's it's awesome. It's the epitome of hard rock in the 1970s. It really, really, really is. So I'm going to give Paranoid by Black Sabbath a 10 out of 10. To me, it's completely flawless. It really is. And then some. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see you guys next time.